next. Video question. When you finish, also upper body squat. A lot of people used to say the pullover, but I'll explain why that's not on my list anymore. Video question. When you finish overtraining, your nucleus overload, right? You're gonna call it nucleus overload now. How long do you not work that muscle for? And also, it is all right to still work out the muscle, but not directly. Yeah, it's all right to still stimulate the muscle. Like the thing is, your body grows because of adaptation. It tries to adapt to something, right? And your body only adapts when it feels like its survival is threatened one way or another. So you wanna find a way to trick your body. Let's say you wanna grow your chest. If the growth of your chest does not contribute to the survival of the body, your body's not gonna give a fuck about it, right? You have to make your body think that, hey, that muscle is crucial for your survival. Is or it has to adapt. You have to force it to adapt, right? So you want to still stimulate the muscle. What happens when you take any muscle, you put in a cast? It shrinks. Your body thinks, okay, you're able to survive without that muscle. You're not using it. You're not contracting whatever myostatin, multiplies like a bitch. Muscles, atrophies. When people go into space, they lose muscle mass even though they're eating right. Why? Because they're in fucking space. They're not really stimulating the muscle as much as if they were on Earth. So the body takes the resources somewhere else. The body is very intelligent and it's a very good economist. It budgets like a motherfucker. All right, next. So yeah, and then the other question was, how long do you not work that muscle for? When I want to let the muscle rest, a week, 2 weeks maybe, 2 weeks max, 2 weeks max, probably like a week. Just let it rest for a little bit, right? And then go back and start training. All right, what do you think about the pullover? The dumbbells, not cable. Uh, to be honest, the pullover is a great exercise. It's actually a great exercise. I mentioned earlier how it used to be called the upper body squat, and I still think it's a great exercise. I just don't do it because it's awkward as fuck. But it's a great exercise. Arnold used to say that it expanded his rib cage, whatever. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But just try it out. The best way is try it out, right? Everyone's body's different. Try it out and see what happens. You gonna cut anytime soon? I'm so sick of that question, guys. Go look at my other videos. When I was fat, when I was skinny fat, my goal was to have a six pack. That was my dream, and I thought it would never happen because my belly was this big. I just had shitty genetics, right? And I told you I didn't want to cut because my arms and legs were skinny as fuck, right? So I was like, if I cut, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna lose my already skinny limbs, and I don't want to bulk obviously because my belly's gonna get bigger. So it took me a long fucking time to get a fucking six pack, right? And you guys saw when I had my abs, I was not fucking around. People were like, "Man, do you train abs every day?" Which obviously I did until that point. Uh, and then when I started training abs every day, my abs still stayed because I was doing a lot of sprints, a lot of HIIT shit. But anyway, so when I finally got my abs, I was like, I feel accomplished, right? I accomplished something that most people don't. I was happy, right? See, if you're skinny and you got abs, shut the fuck up, right? Skinny people are just gifted, right? They have abs without even training. When I first got my abs, I was happy as fuck. Now the next goal was I was never brolic. I was never big. I wanted to get big. I still want to get big. So that's my goal now. I'm not obsessed with six pack anymore. See, when you want something, it's kind of like pussy, right? Like, well, people will always want pussy, but when you in high school, you obsess about that shit, especially if you're a virgin. When you finally get it, and a lot, and la, when you reach to a certain point where pussy is just pussy, you still want it, but you're not obsessed anymore. Same thing with abs. When I first wanted it, I was obsessed. Once I got it, I was like, now I want to look big, right? Because you have abs, but you put a shirt on, you look skinny as fuck. You don't even look like you lift. I don't like that look. I'm going for a massive look, right? And obviously, I want to go to the muscle that I always wanted, which is traps. So I'm not gonna do that by going back to 160 pounds. I was 142 pounds at 16% body fat before I started bodybuilding. 142 pounds, and I was 20 years old at the prime of my life. And now I worked up to 200 pounds at 18% body fat max. I'm always using a higher number just to be safe. That's a lot of muscle. That's 40 to 40. I think that's 45 pounds, but let's say around 40 pounds of pure muscle. I'm not ready to lose all that shit just to see a six pack that I already had. So I'm not gonna cut anytime soon. Like I said, I lean out, right? I lean out because I believe that if you can't see your abs anymore, then what's the point, right? If you can't take your shirt off, what's the point? So when I start losing my abs, I lean out a little bit, and then I go back on maintenance or on growing mode. All right. Damn, this video is long as fuck. So am I gonna cut anytime soon? I already answered that. Video question. Damn, how many do I have left? I gotta hurry up. My upper chest is pretty flat when I'm not flexing, but as soon as I flex it, it pops up hella big. It happens to me too. My thoughts around why this is the case. Well, I had that same problem. All I did was I started doing a lot of fucking flies. Once again, that's like the opposite, right? People, you would think to build up your upper chest, you gotta do only upper chest movements. But I found out that the seated pec deck brought up my up. Just look. I don't think you guys can see, but the seated pec deck brought up my upper chest like crazy, and I was surprised. I was like, it's a seated pec deck. If anything, it would do like my lower chest or like this region right here. But I mean, if you don't believe me, just take your shirt off and do this, right? You see your upper pecs come up like fucking crazy. I did that, and I did a dumbbell incline press, which is also a great exercise for your upper pecs. And that was enough. Those two exercises was enough to blow the fuck out of my upper chest. If you look at the videos when I used to do a lot of upper chest movement, those two, the first video is called "What Is Team 3D." It's around 2012, I think. My upper chest was just out even when I was relaxed. And I attribute it to those two movements. But you gotta do a lot of fucking volume. Next. And don't worry, it has nothing to do with like insertions or whatever. It's just those movements. When I stop doing those movements, I'm gone, right? My upper chest only shows when I flex now. Can you make a best real dud exercise video? I got you. That's not a video question. Video question. Do you think people should aspire to be like the old school bodybuilders who didn't separate strength and performance with gaining muscle? That's subjective. That's up to you, man. Me, I'm not really concerned about strength. The thing is, when you focus on building size, you're gonna be strong. Don't let nobody tell you that somebody who has a lot of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy is not strong. The average bodybuilder is stronger than the average person, you know. So you're gonna be strong enough to do basic shit, you know, help fucking your roommates move, pick up a couch, whatever. So it's not like you're gonna be weak if you're not going for strength. That's bullshit, right? You lift even when you're going for just size, you're lifting heavy weights. So you're gonna get strong. In fact, a byproduct of a bigger muscle is strength. So if you're going for size, you're gonna put on some strength. Now, if your goal is strength, then obviously, yeah, I would say people just focus on what you want. You want strength, go for strength, but don't expect the fucking crazy, uh, uh, size look, right? I mean, even powerlifters will tell you when powerlifters go from powerlifting to bodybuilding, they increase the volume and decrease the weight. They will all tell you that shit. No powerlifter becomes a bodybuilder, even when on steroids. No powerlifter goes from powerlifting to bodybuilding and keeps the weight the same. They do more reps, and in order to do more reps, you gotta lower the weight. All right. Next, in one of your grocery videos at the beginning of the year, you said all the person needs is 20 grams of protein per meal. Can you do an update video on protein requirements? I'm gonna make a separate video for that, but I still hold on to that. It depends. Are you doing intermittent fasting? Are you doing that 6 meal a day traditional shit? Are you like what are you doing? It depends on like your whole fucking program, right? I can't just prescribe something at the blue. If you're doing no, it depends. If you're doing intermittent fasting and you eating in a small window, it's not the same as a guy who's eating. I would say right now focus on overall protein, right? Focus on overall protein. But if let's say I'm eating 6 meals a day, or 3 meals a day, whatever, I would still keep a minimum of 20 grams of protein per meal as a minimum. I'm not saying that's optimal, but that's just to be safe, right? Minimum of 20. If you eat more than that, depending on the protein source, if you eat, first of all, you understand, if you eat fast protein, like whey protein shake or whatever, more than 30 grams, you're overdoing it, right? Because once again, I explained, the speed at which, liquid proteins goes through your tract is very fucking incredible. It goes really fucking fast. I think it's like an hour and a half based on studies. It's like an hour and a half. And your body can only absorb about 10 grams of protein per hour. And that's if you're a fucking genetic fucking monster. Most of the population is probably like half of that. I'm not sure what the number is, but the maximum is like 10 grams per hour, right? And that's because even if you take enzyme, that's because of the amino acid transporters the body has. The body's limited to a certain amount. So if you're taking 50 grams of whey protein, do the math. The first hour is gonna take what? Assuming you're a genetic freak, 10 grams, right? And then the second hour, stop there. Half. Remember, it's an hour and a half. It only stays in your digestion for about an hour and a half. Well, the part where it's mostly absorbed, an hour and a half. So you're only gonna get about 15 grams of protein absorbed if you're a genetic monster, right? So to be safe, I go to between 20 and 30. I don't try to go above 30 just to be safe because once again, you want to make sure that you're getting the maximum as opposed to the minimum. You want to add something?
Hi.
Yo, come on, son. Anyway, so I was like, yo, Hansa, let's make a video and show them how we came up with these insiders. And we spent like the last 10 minutes laughing. The first one is you have to chill.